last week I've been freaked out. ChatGPT came out of nowhere and it is like an unbelievable tool. One crazy thing about this new tool is it has reached 1 million users within the span of 5 days. For context, Netflix took 41 months to do that. Twitter took 2 years. Facebook took 10 months. Instagram took 2.5 months. This one took 5 days. Now, in layman's terms, what you do for this ChatGPT is you make it do all the homework for you. In the examples they give you, they say, explain quantum computing in simple terms, or got any creative ideas for a 10-year-old's birthday? So let me give you an example. I'm a pastor, so I'm gonna put down a pastoral example. Give me a sermon on anxiety based on Philippians 4. And it's unbelievable. Sure, Philippians 4 has a lot to say about anxiety. In verse 6, it says, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything with prayer. What in the world? Verse 7, verse 8, finally in verse 9, in conclusion, it gives you like a quick overview Bible study. Let me ask one more thing. What are 5 reasons pastors are experiencing anxiety in the modern age? That's kind of like the whole point of my book. And let's see what it says. And wow, here's 5 possible reasons. Increase expectations. That's literally what I talk about right away. They're expected to be perfect in every way. 2, technology and social media. Haha, what we're talking about right now. Number 3, isolation and loneliness. 4, financial insecurity. 5, fear of failure. What? This did this like that. I've seen people post all sorts of things. People are joking. Pastors are now going to forever just write down, hey, write this sermon for me, and boom, it'll pop out a sermon. Now, the question we must ask is this good for pastors? Is this good for Christians? Is this good for humanity itself? One fascinating book I just literally started reading this morning, I'm on page 100, is The Life We're Looking For by Andy Crouch. The tagline is Reclaiming Relationship in a Technological World. Now, he gives a couple foundational arguments. I love this book and this topic so much. I'm doing a review before I even finish. So totally acknowledge there may be even way more gold nuggets that I won't touch yet. But one foundational argument he makes is the Shema and how we need to remember in our relationship with technology and money and all these things that are coming in the advanced age that we live in today is we were made to embody, to live out the allness of ourselves, of our personhood. Now, one book that I find really helpful on this topic of this dichotomy our culture has made between mind and body is a couple books, actually. James K.A. Smith has a great book called You Are What You Love. I've made a review on that, but another book that I really want to make a review on is Love Thy Body by Nancy Pearcey. Phenomenal book, and it really talks about how we are so convinced we're just psychological and we don't see ourselves as a body, but we very much are. Now, I wanted to make a video today because of the ChatGPT blowing up onto the scene and this whole idea that Andy Crouch talks about in his book about flow versus superpower. Now, superpower is what technology gives us, and he argues in the past is what magic would give us. So really, technology today is the magic of yesteryear. But what we love so much about technology is it really skips the process. It enables us to be superhuman. One example I love is he talks about flying in airplanes. That is superhuman. But what's fascinating and strange is the way we fly today, it doesn't engage all of who we are. We're just sitting there while someone else is doing all of the work. And usually with our mind, it's not really engaged or creating something, it's watching a movie. And so we often find ourselves completely exhausted when we get off of an airplane. Why? He says on page 45, here's the problem. You cannot take advantage of a superpower and fully remain a person in the sense of a heart, soul, mind, strength complex designed for love. Superpowers are power without effort, and power without effort, it turns out, here's the key line, diminishes us as much as it delights us. Yo, ChatGPT is delighting, but we actually don't recognize how diminishing it is. In a few pages over, he talks about the science of dopamine. And they found out in 2016, dopamine that's generated by drugs, but also things of technology, gives us this reward signal in our brain, and it feels so delightful, and we want more of it. Now, the problem, he notes in page 53, not only do these drugs unleash floods of rewarding dopamine, but they also prevent us from learning that the rewards are fleeting. He goes on to say they're actually damaging and degrading. And most of us, those in the Christian walk, right, we reflect after engaging in a sin that gave us dopamine, and we think we will never do that again because the high is really high, but the low is even lower than what you were before. You have to pay for those dopamine effects. But the brain forgets those effects and wants that high all the more. Now, why am I saying all this? So technology gives us this sense of delight and it hides the diminish. Not all technology is bad, and he makes a good point to talk about that. But in so many ways, the technology that we love is dehumanizing, especially when it doesn't engage the whole person. That's actually one reason why, yet again, I am really against a fully online church. I know some people are in a situation where that's the only thing they can do. But in my experience, man, I believe our church is a mind, body, soul, strength designed event, and not only the Sunday event, but the gatherings throughout the week. But if we fall for the lie that sermons are a form of magic, that all you need is to hear something different and now everything will be better, then sure, online church it is. But that is a lie. That's not engaging in your full personhood, and that's not the design of the scriptures of how we are to walk the way of Jesus. I can go on and on about that, but I digress. What's helpful here is he compares and contrasts flow versus superpower. So superpower, again, you're able to do something beyond your limits, just the click of a button, and it feels rewarding, but really it's denigrating, it's diminishing because it doesn't engage in the full self. But then you have flow. Flow state is when you work really hard. It's like when I wrote my book, right? Writing a chapter was very, very difficult, but it was so rewarding the longer I tried at it. Right? It was hard, but I pushed through, and there was this great rewarding effect by pushing all the way through to the end. It was such a joy to finish a chapter. In fact, so much that before I even published the book, I declared this book was of benefit and value to me, and I'm grateful for it no matter how much money I make or I don't. So when you engage in a superpower, it leaves you hollow, but when you engage in the flow state, embracing your limitation, pushing, exercising, engaging your body, soul, mind, strength, there is a reward that doesn't have a crash. There really is a beauty to it. And of course you do come down, but you don't crash. And so, man, I think such a good point in page 57 was talking about when we only engage in our mind, like the different parts of our personhood are atrophying, and that is not good. And so our soul is off. We feel this anxiety and depression because we're not engaging in all who we are. Technology gives that false promise that all you need to do is click a button and everything will be taken care of for you. Technology gives that false lie, that illusion of success, that illusion of fulfillment, but really your brain hides how much is diminishing and degrading you. So I don't know, there's a lot to think about. ChatGPT, how cool, right? That it does homework for you. Whoever wants to write a sermon again. I actually have found the process of writing sermons, the process of the Christian life, brings so much joy. The toil behind those things actually gives me a sense of fulfillment that I'm grateful for. So should we be anti-technology? I don't think so, but let's put it in its proper place. And I imagine Andy Crouch and the rest of his book will begin to give me some great ways to not become Amish, but have a better relationship with technology. I'll see you guys later. Jesus is better.